Hello students. Today as we are doing the paper Fundamental Principle of Social Research, and we are on the last chapter, that is unit 4, and the name of this unit 4 is you doing research. Under this unit, the first point is research design, meaning and types. Okay, so today we will going to see the research design, its meaning and its type. Now the objective for this particular topic is to explain the meaning and different types of research design and learning outcome, that after this chapter you are able to define the research design and identify the major types of research design used in research. So now let's begin to understand the meaning of research design. So students, research design is a plan or a blueprint for conducting research, because it tells the researcher, it helps the researcher to study and what to study, how and when and where to collect the data, how to record and analyze the data, how to interpret and generalize the findings. So, for example, if the students uh, if you want to study the students' habits in relation to study, the researcher design decides which students to study, how to collect information, when and where to collect it, and how to analyze the results. So in simple way, we can say research design is nothing but it is giving you us or giving us a complete roadmap that how to do the research. Now, Black and Champion in 1976 have given three important functions of research design. So, what all are they? They are, that is nothing but uh, research design is important because it makes a research systematic, efficient, and organized manner. So we can use the three path. First, blueprint, to make the blueprint. So with the help of, when we are going to make the blueprint, it will going to provide us a clear plan or roadmap for research. Second, set the boundaries, that with the help of, when we are going to make the plan for this, so it is defining the scope and the limitation of research, that what all the things we can do, how we can collect the data, what things we can focus, and also what all are the limitation for the research. Then the third one is given by them is identifies the problem. So with the help of this, it will going to help the researcher to predict and avoid possible problems in advance. So research design helps conduct research smoothly, effectively, while saving time, money, and efforts. Now, next slide is talking about Ahuja 2007 explained that research designing proceeds in 8 phases as under. So now what all are the 8 phases? Let's discuss and try to understand it. The first is state the problem. Here, Ahuja is saying that first and foremost thing, to start with our research, what we have to do, we have to decide what problem you want to study and it's important. Yes, if you are choosing that problem for your study, then why you are choosing, what is the importance in today's society or contemporary society, you need to mention that. Second, we are having a review previous studies. Okay, you have to do the review of literature. Review of literature, the previous the studies which is done previously. So you have to study that. Uh, then we are having the with the help of this previous uh, studies, study what others researchers have already found. Okay, The next is operationalized concepts. So with the help of this operationalized concept, it will going to give the clear and specific meaning to the important terms. Next, we are talking about identify variables that the researcher needs to decide the main factors to be studied and how to measure them. Then the next step is fix the sample. Now, according to your the topic which you have taken, you also have to decide that how many people will be studied and how they will be selected. Then after that, the sixth one is select tools. Decide whether to use a questionnaire, interview, observation, or survey according to your problem which you have taken. Whichever is suitable with your topic, you have to choose it. That these tools I'm going to use it to collect the data. Then seven is plan analysis. Decide whether the data will be analyzed quantitatively or qualitatively. And the last one is fix time and budget. Now here you have to decide how much time and the money the researcher will require to complete this study. So easy way to remember and understand this: problem means the topic you have to select, and once you selected the topic, you have to do the review of literature of previous studies, and you have to develop the concepts, you have to check the variables, you have to select the sample, you have to choose the tools for data collection, you have to analyze the data, and also you have to decide the time and budget which will going to be required for your study. Now let's move to the another slide, which is going to give you the more detail about idea about the good research. So this slide is highlighting the characteristics of good research design. So students, a good research design means a research plan that helps us conduct the study properly, accurately, and economically. So a good research design should have these qualities. The first is less bias, means you should not have to put your own personal opinions or your views, because we have to maintain the objectivity and the reality. So for that reason, it should reduce the personal opinions or unfairness so that results are accurate. Then second, we are having the second characteristic is talking about the reliable data. So here we have to keep in mind that we should have to collect the information or data which should be a trustworthy and dependable. So we should have to make sure that from whoever we are collecting the data and whoever is giving us the data, it should be correct. It should not be incorrect. If it will be a correct and trustworthy, yes, of course, your research will be objective one, and it should be trustworthy. Then we are having a third characteristic is flexible. So it should allow some changes if problem arise during the research. So your research should be the flexible one, because it may happen like at the time or at the beginning or in the middle, you find that you need to do the some changes. So your research should be the flexible one, that anytime if you find to bring the change in your research, it should allow you to bring the change in your research. Then we are having a practical and suitable. The design should match the research problem, available skills and resources. Okay, so whichever design you will take, it should match the research problem and the resources and the available skills. It should not be like that your research is going somewhere and you have chosen the design something else. So it should be a suitable to your research design in a practical way. Then the fifth one is complete information. Uh, it should help the researcher collect enough information to understand the problem from different angles. So research should be the replica of whatever you have done and whatever the data you have collected. So your research uh, data should be the enough information there, so it brings, your research will be the healthiest one. Now, what all are the factors considered while the designing the research? The factors you have to keep in your mind while designing the research, uh, that how I will, or how will I collect the information, whether through the questionnaire, interview, or observation. Next, do I have the required skill and staff? Third, what is the objective of my research? Then, what is the nature of the problem and how much time and money I have? Okay, so these questions you have to keep in mind. So, and you have to find the answer of this questions in your research. So whether your research is giving or able to give the answer of all these questions, if yes, then you are going in a correct way or right way, where you have applied the research design correctly. So remember, research design should be accurate, reliable. It should be a easy to practical use, and it should be less biasness and also save the time and money. So from this slide, we is showing the types of research. The main types of research in sociology are as follows. The first one is called as quantitative, and the second one is called as qualitative research. So we have done a lot of explanation related to this. There are two, three presentation of mine which is highlighting that what is qualitative research and what is quantitative research, what things we have to keep in mind and what things we have to avoid, how these qualitative and quantitative research are different and similar to one another. Please just go and check it, but in a short, I'll explain you this once again. Quantitative research, which is uses the numerical data and statistical analysis. Here in the quantitative research, you can use the methods such as survey, questionnaire, structured interview, and experiments. For example, studying unemployment rates among different age group, you can apply the quantitative research here. Then we are having a qualitative research, which is focusing on understanding people's experiences, beliefs, and behaviors. Here, you can use the methods such as in depth interviews, participant observation, focusing on the group discussion, and case studies. So, example here, like exploring how families cope up with the poverty, the qualitative research is the best research design to apply in this problem. Then the other research designs are, the first is descriptive research design. Here, when you wanted to describe the social phenomena as they exist in the society, here you can take the descriptive research for your research design. And the best example to understand the descriptive research, like if you wanted to study the living condition of urban slum resident, so this, with the help of this descriptive research design, where you will going to describe the urban slum problems and their condition, so this research design will help you a lot. Then we are having the next types of research design is exploratory. So uh, students, keep in mind the words itself is giving you an idea that exploratory research means you need to explore the thing. Okay, so exploratory research is focusing on investigates new poorly understood social issue. Yes, so example here, I have given research on the impact of social media on youth. So how the social media is impacting the youth, young youth behavior, that when you will going to study, you may will going to explore many new things about the same. So here what we are doing, we are exploring the new things. Then we are having a explanatory or analytical research. With the help of this, when you wanted to show the cause and effect relationship, this design is the best suitable for your research, that explains the cause and relationship between the social variables. And as I have given you an example to make it more clear, that examining how education affects the income level. Okay, so exploratory or analytical, that which is trying to show that when there is a cause and effect relationship, uh, if you wanted to show in the with the help of variables, so this is the best suitable one to for your research. Then we are having a comparative research, when you wanted to show the comparison between the two countries, two communities, two religion, two group or two colleges or XYZ. Whenever you wanted to show the comparison uh, in any form, then this is the best research design for your research. Then we are having a historical research, which historical research studies the past events to understand the present. So if you want, if your research is, or the problem is like that, you are studying the today's some issues or the social condition, so of course you have to correlate with the historical past events. So this historical research is the best type for your research design. Then the last one, we are having a action research. Action research is nothing but we are choosing at that time when we wanted to solve some issues. Okay, so action research conducted to solve practical social problem while involving the participants. Yes, like example I have given, the community project to reduce the school dropout rates. So this is something that action research is taking place in many of the slum areas, many of the areas where the dropouts are high. So this research, action type of research, the government is using to to bring the change in the society. I hope you have understood this topic. So we'll finish here and we'll continue our next topic in our next presentation. Thank you.